From the moment we wake up until we close our eyes at night, social media is with us. We scroll, we like, we share often without even realizing how much time has passed. But behind the endless posts and viral trends lies a hidden struggle for many young people today. Pressure to keep up, to belong, and to never be left out. This is the cost of connection, Gen Z in the social media era.
For Gen Z, social media is more than just entertainment. It is a stage, a marketplace of attention where being seen often feels more important than being ourselves. Experts call it FOMO, the fear of missing out, a phenomenon where young people constantly compare themselves, afraid of being left behind. But for many, this fear grows into something deeper, the pursuit of clout, chasing likes and validation at any cost.
So, social media nowadays is very powerful, no? Very powerful siya in terms of influence, especially to the Gen Zs. No? There are a lot of misconceptions because of the social media, especially ang mga fake news or other misinformation sa gakakuha sa mga Gen Zs. And somehow, gaka-internalize na siya if not, the information is not understand carefully or wala siya na-analyze carefully. So, the usual tendency of the Gen Z is gina-internalize nila. That's why there are times nga misconceptions in terms of behavior of the Gen Zs. No? There are a lot of differences in terms of their beliefs also because of what they see sa social media. So, social media has a big influence in terms of their behavior, their beliefs. No? So, somehow, ang mga Gen Z depend na siya sa social media kung, for example, what they wear, no? How are they going to do things based on social media, no? Their perspective, especially in life, no? How they deal with the problems, for example, conflicts, no? How they see other people, the behavior of other people. So, kumbaga, guided na sila sa social media. So, very big influence gid ang social media in terms of their growth, not only as a Gen Z, not only as a student, but as a person, as a whole siya. Okay, so in terms of the struggles of the students, actually there are a lot to mention. No? As I've mentioned on the first question about the fake news, so somehow this Gen Z or the generation nowadays struggles especially on coping up, no, sa trends, no, especially the Gen Z becomes conscious in their actions once they see sa social media, for example, nga other people from other culture doing this one, so they try also to do that despite having difficulties achieving that. For example, no, let's say be the lavish lifestyle, no. So some students gaka-forced sila mag social climb, kumbaga, kay because they see alam mo ni siya ang trend, so we need to follow this despite having the differences in terms of resources, no, magkakabulayan sila mag-achieve. In that way, though mas ano na lang ang mga generation subong, though pretend sila. So kumbaga somehow nowadays they don't know themselves na anymore because they try to follow kung ano kakakita na sa social media. They are now forgetting who they are, what are their roots. It's because nga gaka-influence sila sang social media or sang mga gakakita na sa social media. So kumbaga ga-start ang struggle naton within sa ila themselves, no, confusion about who we are, no, because mas gina-focusan nila ang persona nila ginapakita sa social media or even ang persona nila ginapakita sa ibang tao, affected na siya. So somehow the generation today struggles within their identity na on how they are going to present themselves, how they see themselves kung paano nila gakakita nga sila, kung ano ila kagalingon. So somehow gaka-conscious na sila. So I think that is one of the main struggles usually sa mga generations natin, or especially the Gen Z generation. Okay, so what advice? So I think the very best advice that I could give is be smart enough to identify kung ano ang ara sa aton real life and what only do you see on the social media. Okay, in that way, they will be able to process or have an assessment within themselves kung ano ang dapat obrahon, what is the right thing to do, not basing on the social media but basing on their own values, kumbaga, on how they learn their values and how they see sa social media. Okay, and also be smart enough to identify also what is fake news, what is the true sa aton subong, especially currently we have a lot of issues sa aton within the nation. Okay, so there are a lot of fake news, no, nga galapta, and there are also mga news man nga gahambal tuod pero we see it as fake news because it does not align with our own beliefs, no. So somehow be smart enough to identify what is true and what is only presented on the social media. So I think with that, the Gen Z could create a much more balance within their life, especially their social media life and their personal life siya.
Experts warn that social media, while connecting us, can also magnify feelings of isolation and anxiety. The more we seek validation online, the less satisfied we often feel offline. Behind the screens are real stories of young people pressured to keep up, afraid to be left behind, yet also aware of the toll it takes.
So personally, social media makes me feel connected, but it also depends on the context. Since bata pa ko, though exposed na sa isa ka social media app called Twitter, sa dra I found my happiness man, naging connected ko sa mga things na I find joy with. But growing up, and more aware ka na sa mga news nga gakalatabo sa Pilipinas, for example, and syempre, like sa corruption subong, syempre mas stress kagid no matter what. But in general, yes, social media makes me feel more connected than anything else.
The cost of connection is not always visible. It appears in sleepless nights, declining mental health, and the silent burden of comparison. A study from Pew Research Center found that nearly 46% of teens feel overwhelmed by the drama on social media, while 43% feel pressure to only post content that makes them look good.
But not all stories end in pressure. Across campuses and communities, many Gen Zs are learning to balance choosing authenticity over clout, connecting over comparison.
Okay, first things first, nang since ang question is anong ihatag mong advice sa mga Gen Z para i-balance sila social life and media life as well. Kung yung masabat da is time management, because first things first, ang time management amo nang gabulig sa aton para ma-organize ang aton mga lubrahon within our social life or any activities that we are doing in our everyday life. And as a student man nga gagamit sang media, and and also a citizen which is active man sa activities within our society, ang akon lang nga ma-suggest is mahimo ka sang schedule mo nga, for example, for this time amo ning obrahon mo, like for example maobra ka sang imo nga mga activities within media or sa gamit sa mga cellphone or any digital devices, and you give also a schedule for you to do things or mga activities which is on socially or physically as well.
At the end of the day, it's not the likes, the views, or the trends that define who we are. What truly matters are the genuine connections we build, the ones beyond the screen, the ones that bring us real joy and belonging. For Gen Z, Growing up online is both a blessing and a burden. The world is at our fingertips, but so are the pressures of always keeping up. This is the cost of connection, the silent battle faced by a generation caught between the need to belong and the courage to be authentic.